calm person who always quiet, shy, that sort of thing, they become aggressive, they can lash out.
Yes, they can.
Can they ever be considered a risk to not just family members, but to the younger ones? If I have younger ones in the home and I have a relative who have dementia, should I be scared that that person may attack that younger person?
It's not that kind of aggression. It's more personality based, I should say. You might find, well, for example, I have a relative that was a very peaceful, calm, loving person in her younger days. And as she got older, she started exhibiting signs of aggression. Sometimes she would literally want to fight you. You know, it's that she has a headstrong personality. So you would find more of that coming out. You know, so if she wants to drink tea, and you telling me, no, don't drink tea now, yeah, you can get some kind of opposition.
Yeah.
So sometimes it would be just an extreme of the opposite. You know, sometimes they might be very, very aggressive in earlier days, and they become very calm in the later days with the dementia, and it could be the opposite.
Yeah.
You're calm, you end up very aggressive. But it depends on the personality of the person as well.
And are there any tips for families to prepare for when that loved one passes?
Tips for when that loved one passes. You can always take out an indemnity plan. That is something that helps a lot. It's not that you're actually, you know, waiting for them to die, but it's a financial support that is offered for persons in the event. There is also, as I said before, support agencies that could guide you through the counseling. Grief and loss is very important. So you can prep yourself for grief and loss. You know, as I said, the National Family Services is also there to provide that type of counseling as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
And this is where we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Remember, we have our question and answer segment coming right up. You can send those questions into TTT Live online on our Facebook page, and we might be able to open up our phone lines, but I will confirm that when we get back from this break. It's family time. Let's talk. Stay with us.
Are you on board yet? Don't line up. Sign up and enjoy the convenience of the direct deposit system from the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Yes, convenience is at your fingertips when you sign up to receive your disability assistance and public assistance grants and senior citizens pension directly from your bank account. No need to worry. Your money is safe and free from fraud and theft. So avoid lining up and try signing up. Log on to www.social.gov.tt or visit your local board office for more details and sign up today. Remember, direct deposit. It's fast, it's easy, and it's safe. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Helping, empowering, transforming lives.
The National Family Services Division of the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services extends its support and commitment to individuals, families, and households. These support services include counseling and psychosocial support, workshops and webinars, and sensitization sessions under the parenting unit, support to grandparents raising their grandchildren under the grandparenting program. Support is offered anonymously and free of charge. For more information, please call the National Family Services Division at 623-2608, extension 6701 to 6711. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Helping, empowering, transforming lives.
Welcome back to It's Family Time. Let's talk, and we are keeping the focus on elder abuse. We're also talking about mental health as a public health concern. But I also wanted to go back to Ms. Mohammed. In case you're just joining us, we have been talking about that topic. We spoke about the Division of Aging, the suicide hotline. Remember, that number is 800-COPE. But I want to go back to the National Family Services Division, because during our conversation, Ms. Mohammed, you were talking about how clients come to the division. But how long does that onboarding process take?
Clients come to the division and it is dependent on that client. So even though we may have cases that are similar in nature, no two cases are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So we work at the pace of our clients in order to do intervention. We set short-term goals as well as long-term goals for those clients, and we give them the opportunity to meet those goals at their pace.
Yeah.
So basically, the time that we spend with a client, it is dependent on that client. Some clients stay with us 6 months, some stay with us for years, and we don't ever close off a case and just have the client go, because we understand that life happens, and sometimes something may happen that allows the client to have a little setback,
Yeah.
and we would take that opportunity to step in again should the client require that intervention. So basically, as I said before, the intervention depends and it varies based on the client's needs.
Of course, and no two clients are the same.
Yes.
I asked Mrs. Alexander Jakey the question about the training that the staff has to deal with these sort of issues, and I think that question may also be relevant for the National Family Services Division, because you're coming with these issues and you're coming with these problems, and you're hoping that there are trained staff to assist. And so how do we ensure that the staff available at the National Family Services Division is equipped to handle all sorts of issues and problems from the public?
So we have one of the requirements, or the basic requirements, in order to become a social worker, it's a BSc in social work, and to function in the position of a family service social worker, you must have 4 years experience additional to that. As well as during your tenure at the ministry, we are sent on various courses that will keep us abreast of what is happening when a client comes in, that we would be able to make that necessary assessment, again, based on the clients presenting issues.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mohammed. And remember, viewers at home, our phone lines are open right now, 622-4010. Give us a call. Tell us exactly what your thoughts are based on the conversation we've been having thus far. And remember, we are also live on Facebook, and we can field your questions right now. Send us your questions via TTT Live online on our Facebook page. I wanted to go back to the suicide hotline again, Mrs. Alexander Jakey. We spoke about the fact that there have been qualified people equipped to do something like that. If somebody wants to help someone and they want to be part of that group that you have assisting those with suicidal ideation, what is the referral process? Do they have to have a bachelor's? Do they just have to be a volunteer or someone who cares to help a certain group of people?
So you must have at least a bachelor's or a certificate in social work, psychology, or counseling. If persons are interested in being part of the organization, of course, they have to write to the permanent secretary, Ms. Simmons Batiste, and address their resume to her thing, or the HR department, and they will facilitate and make whatever necessary arrangement. Or when the ministry put out our advertising the service vacancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because it's something with the ministry, they have to be 18 years and over. Well, they would have had to get that degree.
They have to at least meet the requirement of the job description. Yeah.
And what are some of the requirements that we can see?
All right. So some of the requirements that you must have a certificate or a bachelor's degree in either social work, counseling, or psychology. In addition to, you get further training with the ministry, and you have to have 5 O-levels. Yeah.
Okay. But does it have to be in, let's say, sociology? Can you be a business student who has those 5 passes?
No, it have to be social work, counseling, or psychology.
It has to be in that
to be,
field.
yes.
Yeah. Is there a reason for that? Because I feel like some people at home, they may want to assist, and we understand that they have to be certified. But is there a reason for, ensuring that they have that background in social work?
Because some calls is when you're listening, because it's art in listening. And as a result, you don't want somebody who come in your life and death we are speaking about, and somebody who is not trained to take a call, and then the person will end up losing that person.
Yeah.
So we cannot take that chance. Every life matter. So you must get trained, must be qualified to be in a position. So don't know why we might have a nice big heart and want to help. You can be, but you need to get trained.
Every life matters.
Every life matters.
I like that you mentioned that.
Yes.
Mrs. Mohammed, I'm coming back to you. In terms of the division, do you see it as being oversubscribed? So do you see a heavy influx of members of the public coming to the division with a range of issues?
So we do have a lot of persons coming into the division with varying issues. So we deal with domestic violence, abuse of the elderly, persons who have suicidal ideation, spousal abuse, abuse of children, and so forth. So those are just some of the issues, but we have a wealth of issues that persons in society are faced with, and they do come to the National Family Services. We even have things like marital discord, a breakdown in family, dysfunctional families, and so forth. So there are various things. Sometimes persons come and there may be one presenting problem, but when we do an assessment, we realize that there are various problems that the families are faced with, and now we have to take a holistic approach into intervention and how best we meet that need.
And ladies and gentlemen, remember our phone lines are open. You can call us at 622-4010. Remember, please send us your questions as well via TTT Live online, their Facebook page or our Facebook page, and we can field those questions. We have a group, a bevy, I would say, of very beautiful experts joining me here this evening, and they are willing to take your questions. But here's my question, Ms. Andrews, because I was reading that elder abuse is not just physical abuse against elder, but it can happen with financial abuse. Somebody coming and putting a document in front of you and telling you to sign.
Yes.
So can we break down the different forms of elder abuse that you can see?
Definitely. So elder abuse can range from physical abuse, it can be financial, it can be medical. We have instances of social abuse, and that is where persons are being withheld from either visitation, or persons are being locked in a house without, being allowed to family and friends to visit. That's social abuse. There is also verbal abuse and neglect. So those are some of the common types of abuse that we would witness at the Division of Aging as well.
Can you give us an example of what that one would look like? The verbal abuse?
Verbal abuse?
Well, the verbal abuse is understood. The financial abuse, whether it's a relative or somebody coming maybe to sign a will and the person isn't really aware of what they're signing.
Yeah, that happens. But what we witness most in the ministry is misappropriation of the pension. And we would have seen an increase in that during the pandemic, where persons, we were locked down, so older persons had to depend on others to assist them with certain things, and the finances is one area that a lot of advantage would have taken place. So yes, there are instances where persons would try to take the will. We have a lot of family disputes going on where that is concerned. This one won the land, this one won the house. But there are also instances where persons trick and manipulate older persons into either signing over property or the pension. They're depending on them to help them with getting their groceries and stuff, and they use the money for their own, themselves. Yeah.
Apart from a relative witnessing this and bringing it to the ministry, is there any other things that the ministry does? For example, is there a monitor system in place where you monitor especially those elderly care homes, those senior citizens' home? Because unfortunately, we do see those very unfortunate videos where the elderly is really, really being abused. You see it from time to time, whether somebody's beating them or talking to them in a rough manner. So is there a monitoring system from the ministry to monitor especially those elderly homes?
The Division of Aging is in charge of inspecting and monitoring, regulating homes for the aged as well. We're the monitoring body. So where the licensing body would be the Ministry of Health, we're responsible for making sure that the regulations are maintained and upheld. So yes, we go into the facilities, we do our quarterly inspections, we also do unannounced inspections. We can get a report of elder abuse being happening in a home for the aged. When we get those kind of cases, then we would go in unannounced, right? So most times it will call for a multidisciplinary team.
Of course.
We would go in with police depending on the nature. We would go in with National Family Services, depending on the nature, or we may even go with Victim and Witness Support, Gender Violence Abuse, gender-based violence unit as well. So yes, there are instances where persons experience different types of abuse, and they can call it the Division of Aging, but I must emphasize that we assist. We do not independently investigate. We do not have the authority to do so, right? So all cases involving elder abuse is referred. So a case involving that may require an intervention from the National Family Services Department, you have relatives requiring counseling and that kind of thing, we refer. Right. We have allegations of misappropriation of the pension and stuff, we refer to welfare. And I just want to say, in order to access the Division of Aging, you can contact us at our hotline, which is free. It's 800-OPIC. That is 800-OPIC. And you can also get us at 623-2608, and the extension numbers range from 2000 to 2012. Right? You can also contact us via email. You can lodge allegations of elder abuse via email as well.
Of course. So thorough, Ms. Andrews.
Yes,
thank
you so much.
And we do have a call. Thank you so much for joining us. Who am I on the line with? Good afternoon. All right, so unfortunately we lost that call, but we do have a question. So this question, of course, ladies, you can take this one. Does the suicide prevention hotline have bilingual active listeners? If not, is this something that is being considered? And this one, of course, is for you, Mrs. Alexander J. Key.
Right, so while some of the members of staff can speak basic Spanish, however, continuous training is still going to be provided. So in the near future, continue with continuous training.
Right. So we have it at this basic level for now.
Yeah, basic.
But eventually.
And we're also looking at utilizing technology.
How so?
Like when the web chat starts, yes, we utilize technology.
Yes. And just in case we didn't cover it before, this is a toll-free number. Absolutely no charge.
No charge for the citizen. No one. It is toll-free. Just dial 800-COPE.
Yes.
And you will get somebody on the next line.
Yeah. Now, I know that we're dealing with, of course, family services and national issues. If you, as a member of the public, see someone who may need assistance, can you call them? And I ask that question because I have seen from time to time, we may have a family, someone who is homeless on the street, and you see them with their children. Do you talk to them first? Do you leave them alone? Or can you come straight to the Ministry of Family Services and say, listen, I've seen someone at the bottom of Queen Street, wherever it is, can you assist that family? Do you have a right to do that as an average citizen? And anyone can take, Ms. Mohammed, I see you shaking your head.
That answer would be yes. As a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, if you are seeing something that you may consider, as being an ill in society, then it's your right to make a report. And, I love to say that it's better to report something and we investigate and find out it's not true than to just be a bystander, leave it as is, and then some form of abuse or, injustice is happening.
And I'm just going to pause you for a minute, Ms. Mohammed, because we do have Valencia on the line. Valencia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kimberly.
Hi, Valencia. How are you?
I'm Sheila Patron.
Tell us, do you have a question for the experts?
I'm very good, but what happened to the caregiver who was here? He paid 8,000 more in things in my house. All my curtains.
Valencia, can you speak up a bit for me? Unfortunately, I can't hear you. If you can speak up a little bit, I'll try to understand what you're saying.
He's steal all my curtains, my kitchen curtain, my kitchen towels, blankets, bowls, plenty things.
All right, we lost the call, unfortunately, but I think what Valencia was getting at is that form of elder abuse, Ms. Andrews, because it seemed as if she was talking about maybe some people stealing her jewelry. And so maybe the question can be, how can the elderly protect themselves against those who may want to steal or, take things from them?
That is a challenge. Yeah. That is definitely a challenge because you have persons with cognitive impairment, you have persons who cannot really verbalize for themselves, and then we have the situations where persons have powers of attorneys, and are in charge of certain assets. Sometimes they are the perpetrators as well.
Yeah.
So it's very, very technical, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but we encourage persons to still call the Division of Aging to lodge allegations of elder abuse. We encourage persons to walk in as well. You can come in, or you can walk in and, you can make a complaint on behalf of someone as well.
Yeah. Now, as it relates to that as well, because you mentioned it's very, very difficult, right? So what if they eventually get onto the ministry comes, but they have to stay in that same household? How can they, or is there a way for them to prevent that backlash if someone feels that they might have been slighted?
That is the challenge. That is the challenge. As I said before, there is the authority to actually investigate allegations of elder abuse. So we depend on the TTPS to actually take the lead on certain cases, right? We go in, we gather the evidence, we require that the persons come with as much information as possible, so that we could at least have a lead, something to work with. But it's a challenge because, as you said before, there have been instances where there is the evidence, but because of the remit of the work involved, or because of certain legalities, very little can be done.
Very little can be done.
Yes, but we also have cases, victorious cases, where we were able to alleviate the distress of a lot of older persons as well. But we're working around that. We're trying very hard to get the older persons legislative enacted through cabinet. So we're working on that. As soon as we have that, then we would have some sort of authority to actually implement action, go in and make a more solid stance as the Division of Aging.
Of course. Ms. Mohammed, I'm coming back to you for two things. I know we were on the point of the average citizen reporting things that they can see, and any closing thoughts, any numbers you want to leave, for example, with the viewers, how they can reach out to the National Family Services Division, or any other closing things you think our viewers should know.
Okay, so definitely, as I was saying before, that we should make it our business, for want of a better word, to make those reports if we see things happening, because sometimes we may not understand. Seeing someone at the street corners with children begging, that is a form of child abuse, that is child labor, as long as it interferes with their schooling and all of that. So by making that call, it helps families, because we have resources even within our ministry that those families can benefit too. So it may not be that your report is a means of chastising, but it may be a means of upliftment for that family.
Now, Ms. Mohammed, before you get onto the numbers, we have a caller from Central. So Central, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Miss Kimberly.
Hi, Central. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, Miss. Yeah.
Nice.
What I'm asking is, can you direct me where there is a walking place to speak to someone?
A walking place to speak to someone about a particular issue?
Yes, pertaining to like elder abuse.
Elder abuse. Miss Andrews.
Yes, you can come into the Division of Aging on St. Vincent Street. That's in Port of Spain, opposite Magistrates Court. You can come in there, or as I said before, you can contact us at 800 OPIC.
What number on St. Vincent Street that is?
That would be number 39 to 43 St. Vincent Street. It's opposite Magistrates Court.
All right, thank you, Miss. Thank you.
Yes.
Of course. Have a good one, Central. Yeah. So you see, it's already working.
Yes.
So we're just going back to you quickly, Ms. Mohammed, to give us the numbers and how to reach out to the National Family Services Division.
The National Family Services, we have various offices. We have 9 offices throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So in saying that, what I will do, I would leave our head office number where you would be dispatched to the nearest location to where you reside, and that number would be 623-2608, extension 6701 to 6710. That number again, it's 623-2608, extension 6701 all the way up to 6710. We can also be reached via the suicide hotline, which is 800-COPE. We can also be reached via the ministry's Facebook page, where you can inbox us a message and we would be able to reply to you. Yeah.
And we're almost out of time, but Ms. Andrews, quickly, that number for elder abuse.
That number is 800-OPIC.
Yes.
You can also contact us at 623-2608, and the extension numbers range from 2000 to 2012. Right? You can also send an email, that is opic@social.gov.tt. I'll say it again, that is opic@social.gov.tt, and we will respond.
And Mrs. Alexander Jakey, we know that it's 800 COPE, but quickly, any closing thoughts?
That every life matter, and no matter what it is, if you're feeling suicidal, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling crisis, please call us at 800-COPE. It is toll-free. Every life matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. And that's our show for this afternoon. Let me thank our guests, Mrs. Naida Andrews, Mrs. Simone Alexander Jakey, and Ms. Farisha Mohammed for joining us this afternoon. You, our viewers at home, and those who sent in questions. Join us at the same time next week for another edition of It's Family Time. Let's talk. My name is Kimberly D'Souza, and on behalf of all of us here at TTT News, have a great afternoon.
Are you on board yet? Don't line up. Sign up and enjoy the convenience of the direct deposit system from the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Yes, convenience is at your fingertips when you sign up to receive your disability assistance and public assistance grants and senior citizens pension directly from your bank account. No need to worry. Your money is safe and free from fraud and theft. So avoid lining up and try signing up. Log on to www.social.gov.tt or visit your local board office for more details and sign up today. Remember, direct deposit. It's fast, it's easy, and it's safe. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Helping, empowering, transforming lives.
The National Family Services Division of the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services extends its support and commitment to individuals, families, and households. These support services include counseling and psychosocial support, workshops and webinars, and sensitization sessions under the parenting unit, support to grandparents raising their grandchildren under the grandparenting program. Support is offered anonymously and free of charge. For more information, please call the National Family Services Division at 623-2608, extension 6701 to 6711. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Helping, empowering, transforming lives.
This is TTT. Live for local.
The following program is rated PG. Parental guidance is advised.
That of all the lawyers in the entire world, Ope Badmus had to be the lawyer you picked.
Kamal, what has her being hot or banging or eggs or whatever have to do with anything? She was the best possible choice.
Of course, because you conveniently chose not to say that she was the most problematic choice.
You said I shouldn't make myself known to her.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be very certain.
Fighting for my own son doesn't make sense. Kamal, are you listening to yourself?
It's not what I mean and you know it. If you pursue this case, it will scatter your life.
Guy, Just stop trying to be a prophet, okay, and focus on being an advertiser.
I don't need to be a prophet to see this.
My learned colleague. Good afternoon. Come inside. Close the door. You know, now that I see you, all I can see is a brilliant, ambitious lawyer determined to reach the top. And honestly, I totally applaud that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But to the main reason why you're here, I think you should drop the case, the Dairy Barwell case. It has no merits, and you know that.
Do I? But you considered it merit-worthy enough to be here.
I think you should not misconstrue my concern for a hard-working lawyer like you for anything else.
Thank you for the concern, sir. And as for the case, let me be the judge of its merits and the lack of it.
Yeah. Opeyemi Badmus, best graduating student of 2006, law school 2007, then called to the bar. You know, you've done very, very well for yourself within a decade. And let me ask you, would you like to be remembered as that young, up-and-coming lawyer who lost her career because she was trying to bring down Omega Hospital?
My case is with Shalom Hospital.
No, they're one and the same. That's what I'm saying. Your client has been offered a very good deal. You should take it. You should stop chasing shadows.
A poorly managed hospital, unethical practice, irresponsible staff, negligence, a dead baby, and you call all that chasing shadows?
You should beware of hubris, barrister. It's a deadly indulgence.
Thank you very much, sir. Your mentorship is very much appreciated.
You know I can go to work and never come back home alive. And so you're just going to allow me walk out of here without saying a proper goodbye.
Goodbye.
Look, I would never have hired Ope if I didn't think she was the best person for this job. We need a lawyer like her, someone who can take the case personally.
And why would she take it personally? Because she still loves you.
Wait, what? What has love got to do with this? You know me better than anybody. You know that I would never make a decision based on feelings or whatever.
Meaning you still love her?
What is wrong with you, Awazi? Why are you deliberately misunderstanding everything I say? Look, Okpa is a brilliant lawyer who knows how long we waited and prayed for Isaac. And so she understands the depth of the loss. That is the personal thing that I'm talking about.
And you honestly think that she loves Isaac so much? Or maybe because she still loves you?
Awazi, Okwe is not in love with me. I don't love her. Okay? I love you. Only you.
You obviously didn't learn from the last time. Because if you did, you would have gotten yourself another liar.